Yes, so we have V3 versus Burning Court. Let's fix my webcam. Screw the sun. So pre-standard bans, V3 banning set. They don't want to play it this time. They don't want to play that anymore. Syndra, Jarvan. Since pre-standard, priority picks, mostly Jarvan is probably the bit weaker of those. Less worth banning. I also don't think set is actually worth banning or having a high priority pick on. Akali makes sense. I think Aphelios also makes sense as being the probably strongest AD carry. Elise as well, very strong, solid jungler. I do, however, think that Gragas is better, or at least just as good, but it really depends on how you want to play your early game. Ornn first pick is relatively safe. He's prone to some bad matchup, like Soraka wins that lane, and some other ones, really, but I think it's safe. There are some other priority picks you might want to have considered, but yeah, you're pretty much giving up that lane pretty hard. Darius is potentially a bad lane here. Takes very long for, well, it's very hard for Ornn to play this lane because he needs to have a perfect CC chain against him if they're fighting, right? Can't really have any point where Darius gets to cast a Q. You just heals up and you start stacking and it goes downhill very fast. Lays, once again, pretty solid. Can't do too much complaining about it. It's standard jungler. I think the Darius kind of gives away their thought or the ideas first. I think he would be better picked as the third one here, but we'll see. Rek'Sai, pretty bad. I think he's kind of overrated, but I guess that just gives away that they're gonna be playing an EP mid laner. So, guess they know what to ban for second phase on Burning Core here. MF makes sense, very strong AD carry. Senna would be the other one to consider. I think Varus pick here is pretty bad because even like it doesn't really matter what they pick on V3 if they pick Senna or MF. Should have just picked Varus here on 3. I mean instead of Darius. Reason being is that you can hide Darius slightly longer. Picks would matter, where Darius could have better matchup by banning out some stuff into enemy teams. Things that kite really well, right? And supports that can really screw them up. Same for mid laners, I guess. Since they also know now that they need a split pushing threat, they could have picked something for jungle. I guess Rek'Sai is a part of that thought process where they can have a jungler that does solid against it, where it can easily close the gap and just go in and help, really. Brom ban normally doesn't really good against MF, but since they have Ornn, it makes sense. Tom Kench, similarly there, they want a strong bot lane. Something that synergizes really well with Varus would be Tom Kench due to low mobility, which is also a reason why I think Darius might even not shouldn't have been he shouldn't have been picked this early because they could secure Tom Kench for that on the third one, where it's one of the few times where I would probably consider it. LeBlanc makes sense as well. Good setup together with Rek'Sai. However, since they do have first pick, I would rather have Lee LeBlanc rather than Victor here. I think Victor has some weaknesses, such as taking quite a bit of scale to scale. It doesn't have really good gank setup together with Lee. Doesn't There's a lot of weaknesses in that regard. So I think Victor is not the best pick here. You could have picked LeBlanc if you didn't ban it instead, I think. Then the team would have looked a bit more solid. It would maybe have been too early game focused, but I think they can kind of play that early game better. Zoe is a pretty standard pick. I don't think it's a very good pick here. Doesn't really synergize at all with the team. It only really adds some wave clear, but even then, there's better way clear options, I think. Nautilus is a solid choice. They kind of waited to get counter pick for the support on Burning Core, so I think they can really pick anything else. It's a safe pick though, so it's fine. As for Thresh, it's something that can do okay against Nautilus. It's something that can hook up with Misfortune, right? And what more about Thresh really? Thresh does okay with Varus, good CC chain, really good with Lee Sin, right? It has synergy with Lee Sin where they can lock up people really well, and lots of mobility together with Lantern. Baron, I mean, Dragon control increases very, like, a lot due to the hook and the mobility and denial they have. Nautilus does a similar thing there, but it's not quite the same. Guess. So we'll see how this game goes. Looking at the early game pathing here I think is very important. Getting a pause seems solid. As this game goes on, I think Rek'Sai want to avoid Lee early. Or does Rek'Sai win early? Yeah. Okay, so Rek'Sai can win duels early, but Lee quickly outskills that. So right, standard vision setup, relatively standard at least. It looks like Rek'Sai is gonna start topside. Obviously, they want to hide where Rek'Sai starts. They don't really want to give away how he paths this. For Lee, it's pretty obvious how he's gonna look to path because he wants red buff as long as possible. So taking red buff as late as possible is a good choice, and also ganking for it there is a good option. So he's gonna start blue, going for Gromp, and then he's gonna take red and gank top lane probably. He could also opt into ganking Victor if the ganking for Victor if the possibility right, but I think that lane is pretty weak to gank for, especially since he got Comet. He's not gonna be able to stick on Zoe at all. I think that's another reason why it's not. Phase Rush is just a lot better, a lot stronger here. So he went for Electrocute. I think that's fine. I do think Spellbook is a lot better, but I think Electrocute can be fine. Can be rough to proc it sometimes from very long ranges. With that, consider Spellbook on Ornn makes sense because he's not going to be looking to fight with Darius. More game pause. So having Grasp doesn't really help him because he will just disengage all the fights. Game pause, game pause. Right, it came back now. Let's see where it starts. Right, so we have here. Boogie went for a very odd pathing again. He's skipping wolves for some reason. So he went for the buff Gromp buff, and then went for red, but he skipped Wraiths. So, or rather, he goes for Wraiths and skip wolves. This means that he has to walk back there eventually and clear that to be properly full clearing. This is something that made him lose. I think Lee seemed to have gone for a full clear route as an alternative and looking for to get level 6 maybe quite early. Scuttle makes sense here. So yeah, Rek'Sai, as I said, the problem with not taking wolves is that they won't have respawn and won't be a higher level compared to having went for full clear topside, red, and then go scuttle and then clear the last two camps. So he seems to be recalling now. While and no, only gonna get like a level, I think it's a level 3 or 4 Gromp, but the wolves are level 1, so it's lesser experience. And while he's there, about 10 seconds earlier or so, it's kind of, if you path accordingly afterwards and just recall instantly, it wouldn't have been that bad. Now he's walking topside trying to get a gank, but I don't think that this is really gonna work. Okay, never mind. Darius is kind of ending. Right. Let's look at this, why it works. So, gets Shane CC'd because he's pathing very close to the wall. So he's gonna get knocked up twice. Get hit by all of that. He's not really here. I think he kind of got Shane CC'd, I guess. I think just kind of how he's positioning, trying to be very aggressive. So in the end, the pathing from Rek'Sai did turn out fine. Or rather, it didn't turn out fine, but it did pay off to skip a lot of things to get that gank off. Goal-wise, you're kind of slightly ahead. Experience-wise, you're down though, so that's something to consider. Lee is up almost. What is that, like? A few camps at least, 2 camps probably. Considering them been taken camps rather. Yeah, Lee is. I think. So yeah, this works out fine. And then this gank on mid kind of does not. This is a waste of time. I mean, it's fine because he kind of probably wants to path bot side, right? So he's been clearing his top side, wants to go down bot side anyway. So he goes to ward there, and then he's gonna keep clearing his bot side. So let's see, he went for a Gromp, and then he's looking to path to top side again. Rek'Sai clear those raids though, going for those golems. Kind of expected in a way. Oh. That's... What? Okay. Right, so when you notice it, they're gone. He doesn't actually check if he's taken them, he just knows that they're gone. And then looking at how Orm passed, you should know that he's coming as well. So this is they're kind of risky. I think they win the 2v2 though, really hard. So I'm not sure why. I guess he's scared of being bursted down by the Rek'Sai. So I guess that's the main reason why he's not actually just going. I mean, you can go into micro outplays here, which would be like he could W over the wall into the over the wall. He could add Q'd, W back, and then trying to juke the Warren ultimate that way. What the? So he just walks up and ignites the Rek'Sai? Or the oh yeah, it's probably the Victor just went and ignited that guy. Right. Let's see here. Oh my god. V3 should be winning bot side, right? And they are, even though that Rek'Sai is playing really hard on top side, which makes me wonder if they like. So the 2 things you can do to play through bot side is by focusing bot side obviously with ganking and stuff, or you can isolate it. So he's playing on top side now because Lee will be doing that. So he's playing it to make sure that Lee's not getting leads elsewhere, because the isolation on top lane, bot lane, I mean, means that they will be keep winning because there's no jungle interaction that can kind of screw that up. Now, this also means that dragons are not really on the table for a little while, but since they're kind of grouped up at this point, they could maybe look for a dragon right now. Alright, so he's getting ganked by walking on wards because they're not really paying attention. Let's see, Rek'Sai is 6 now, so might be looking to do some plays. You're on bot side, can do decent diving. Right, so they're backing off now. Yeah, as expected kind of thing. Is like they have no real pressure from Victor onto the Zoe or anyone else on the enemy team. I think a Lee plus LeBlanc would have been a lot stronger lane. Rek'Sai is just not really punished for being Rek'Sai. Like she's good, right? But she's prone to getting, if she goes in, she have a hard time getting out again. And having a Lee Sin LeBlanc is very good because LeBlanc can disengage decently well, or very well, and also re-engage together with a Lee Sin. The same with Lee Sin, can disengage and re-engage very easily. So kiting her out and doing a few things like that is like really, really good against her. Normally I'm not really too much for LeBlanc, but I think having the strong 2v2 here is better because she has really good gank setup. Because Zoe is kind of easy to gank in that way. Yeah, I think they're just getting too much room to play how they want, and they're not getting punished for pathing mistakes, for weak tracking, or wasting time, or inefficiency, or anything really. Let's see here. Game is kind of slow right now. I guess they're trying to force stuff here. Should this really happen? What happened here? So let's see. They're trying to force into the jungle to put pressure on bot lane. Not really sure why, but I guess they want to put more pressure on the Varus that's already down 34 CS, so didn't really work, so now they're walking mid. He walked on ward. Damn, this Lee was not ready. Oof, yeah, that's kind of rough. He's getting punched. This is kind of bad pathing. I don't know why he's just not walking straight to his tower instead of going to the Lee. Yeah, for sure. It kind of got them both killed here. Or at least the Lee. You could have just flashed back down to his tower and would have been safe. A lot of people tend to have too much trust. let me say it that way. They have too much trust on their team to actually like that they can turn things together, but they don't really account for that the enemy probably knows for this. This is like, they should know that Orange is coming from the other side as well, right? Alright, so Orange shows top here. Oh wait, this is... Let me just go back to when the actual play happens, right? Is it going... how is this timer going? It's going back. I mean the wrong way. Right? So now I'm clicking the same button. Because it's just... Why is it going back? Can you not? Okay. Holy shit, Twitch. So here's where they're trying to force shit here. So now they're looking for mid lane. And Ornn was shown top lane because he was clearing. And now he's walking there, right? They kind of spotted out Lee. At this point, it's kind of too late. But they know Ornn has long range. And they don't know exactly where he is at that point. Why would he just stay around the lane? It's just bad in all ways. It's just bad communication. Kind of got them both killed. Let's see here. Itemization seems solid. Probably will be looking to get a bit more tanky on Lee now. Darius is getting the Trinity. Makes sense. Paris going for the Taxpi build. I think that's probably truly the better choice here. Nothing really out of the ordinary looking at it. Securing Dragon, getting up Vision. Varys is a bit weak now though, so he should not be able to really contest it. Shouldn't be able to contest it at all on V3. So, going for the dragon. Sorry, I was doing something I didn't even pay attention. Give me a second. Right. So, now, Darius contesting a bit of mid, doing some RM game state. Top lane is being pushed in. Darius should probably be there. He has TP as well, if you actually need. Although, red team cannot contest this dragon at all, because there's so much zone control currently on, and they're also ahead on the team of V3. Ornn is there, can't really contest at that point. Rek'Sai is really good at target access, and Zoe's really good at zoning off. MF is just generally strong, and Nautilus is a good pick. Like, this is just dumb. There's just no way they can win this fight. Why are they fighting over a fucking ocean drake? Barely dumb, losing a lot of CS, getting caught. This fight is just not looking really good for him right now. Right. Luckily they managed to disengage, but it cost them 3 summoners, 2 ultimates. And in terms of V3, Secure Dragon, they used 3 ultimates, 1 summoner. So that's just a loss. You just traded for nothing. And of course, as I said, lanes weren't really there. Darius is just losing experience and gold. Could have actually gotten a lot of decent of that. Guess Boogie's kind of looking to chase this guy down. Right. He flashes out. He also loses Slash because he's so late to push up the top tower. So they managed to rotate up too. It's all just due to this dumb play to contest the dragon when they absolutely do not need to. MF Bull looking standard, looking to get Infinity Edge coming soon. Barry just finishes Bork. Bork is obviously pretty crucial against their team with a pretty chunky front line and able to use some the movement speed and slow on Rek'Sai. If he jumps on him, hopefully you don't die if she jumps on you, but if you don't, you can kind of sustain it up. So very important in this part of the game. Ludens on Zoe, very standard there as well. Alternatively, you could go for the DLP, very solid slow. It would be nice to know what Victor is going with that amplifying tome, but it's not really possible to know at this point. He already has his hex tech upgraded though, so he's relatively strong in that regard. Just not in the one-on-one, but he should be able to clear waves for a while, delaying the game until they can stabilize again. Thing is, small plays like not farming a side lane, wasting summoners allows them to bleed out because they can't really play up and keep farming. Right, so Darius can't move up to the tower, can't pressure it, because he has no flash, and even then it's kind of risky, I guess. Even if they know most people are topside, the fact that Warren could almost one-on-one him is probably not a very appealing thought. And at least the fact that he's not gonna even bother wasting his time trying to do it, it's just shows the state of the game. So, Warren items are starting to get out. He's level 13. Upgrade Infinity Edge for Misfortune. Very strong pick. She's currently extremely strong. Even at an 000, she's essentially their half their team in terms of strength with those items. So the fact that she can kind of walk and go how she pleases in the river is just very scary because V3 has no pressure on the map and no vision. And they're just ARAMing it. They're like, we need to stay grouped to not get caught and die, but then there's like, if they get caught and caught here, they all just die instead, really. Varus ulti goes down, Victor not really good. Mina is on Nautilus. They're just all getting picked. Get sniped. Does this guy die here? Yeah, he's not taking the lantern. Trying to scratch for a kill. Training 1-for-1 is obviously worth it on their position, but is the chances to actually get it is pretty low. So right. So Victor should be recalling now, really, and just actually should get this wave, and then he can recall. He can even, if he's feeling frisky, if he's feeling safe, he can even go for a next wave here, because most of them are going to be recalling. So look at this fight. They already wasted their strongest disengage tool almost by putting it on Nautilus before the fight even starts. I don't know why they're thinking they can fight this, because it's just not a fight they're gonna win, because they're already stronger. I mean, blue is stronger, so they're throwing out Paris ult. Warren instantly goes for the counter engage, and it's really scary for him. Vayne tries to at least tries to walk up and try and kick him before he can knock him out, but he realizes he's not going to reach him, so he tried back off. Instead, he takes an extra tower shot, gets bursted down even harder, didn't get time to even try and escape. Just a very messy fight. Could go for Lantern. I guess he's kind of scared of the Rek'Sai knockup, but even then, it's like she just went for it really. Now again, hopefully they don't fight for this dragon. Right, okay, so the thing is, V3 scared them off the dragon too much, so they couldn't even contest it if they wanted to, because they're just too scary. So they almost saved them. Like, I don't know. Victor seems to be going for Ludens. I guess the item is fine here to getting even more burst, but I think it doesn't really matter what item he goes here. I think he needs Leandris, he needs Rala, he needs a lot of things to be able to become a threat at the moment, compared to like LeBlanc, who already would have had his Ludens and been very strong at this point. Goal difference 8.5k. Yeah, as I said, they just keep bleeding out more and more. Orange should be looking to maybe pressure mid, because his ultimate is pretty long range, so even if they're looking for an engage, he can just easily join in with that. Same thing with like Rek'Sai is pretty easy way of traveling there in between. Guess they're gonna be bouncing back and forth between those two lanes to get pressure, withering down. As long as they play it slow, it should be fine. Like, there should be no risk of them dying. I don't know why this Ornalt is coming out. It's not gonna do anything. But, I don't know. Yeah, that's just a waste of ultimate. Pretty greedy. Because the main reason you want the Ornal ultimate here is not even for the engage, it's for the disengage potential. If they manage to catch someone out, you can ulti and then just disengage for them. Mostly because you'd rather have the Nautilus ulti to just engage on a single target, because unless like it's super good knockup for him, the actual knockup is not very long, especially on several targets. So you're mostly, at that point, you're hoping that the first one hit, and then it's kind of like damage potential. But if it's just some guy getting caught out, it's usually for the slow and then follow up knockup, because you don't really have the one combo potential aside from with misfortune in case you catch a lot of people. And in that case, yeah, sure, you can go for that, but it's not like you're gonna be looking to fight too much with your team anyway, so why should you try and force fights? Who was the one with GLP there? Was it Zoe's W? Yeah, it must have been. Varys is trying to snipe, but obviously he hasn't built lethality or 80, so it's not very effective in that way. Thresh Flash had to go. Now he's going for a re-engage again. Oh, what? Oh, he got snared by the Varys ultimate. But yeah, as I said, it doesn't really do anything even if you get in. This Lee kick. Questionable for sure. The kick is not going to do anything because he doesn't get in the right angle. So it just kicks him in place. Now, they have pretty good counter engage here, but thing is, Ornn doesn't have his ultimate. Now, Ornn ultimate would have been really good. You just use it to help chase down the kills because you're not really in actual threat of dying in that case. But yeah, due to Rek'Sai flash and stuff, you just kind of chase people down. Boop. Oh, that's game. 10-0. Maybe they get time to respawn for one extra kill, I guess. But yeah, this is pretty free. So 10-0, pretty perfect game. Didn't lose any. Actually, was it perfect game? No kills, no towers. Did they give up a dragon? No. Herald? It's a good game though. Pretty good game. But yeah, V3 could still have been playing better, obviously. I think it's pretty dumb that their game plan worked out. It should not, because of a lot of things, really. Like, Ganker for an Orange should not really work. I think Darius pick didn't really do anything, because he couldn't really get any pressure done. And it's less about the gank, it's more about how he played it. Like, I don't know, they shouldn't really feel good about that win in a way. Like, obviously they will feel good, but that loss must hurt even more, because perfect game and they didn't even, it's more like they played bad rather than the enemies played well. These kind of engages too, it's like not really good at reading how stuff should be normally be considered playing. Ones was really bad. The ball there was weak. Senna was open. Why not pick Senna? At least you would have, like, sure, it's not a great lane. Obviously, it's weak, but I don't know. Guess they didn't want to play that matchup again like they did previously, last game. Are we gonna get the post game score? Okay, so perfect game essentially, right? They weren't really down in gold at any point. Didn't lose any kills. No kills. No dragons given up. Doesn't say anything about heralds, but yeah. There is a 3.6k damage. That's just because you could hit a tank most of the time too. So yeah, this is a rough game. But yeah, could have been slightly better drafted, I think, for both sides. Burning Core picks are several off. I think Zoe could have been probably something else. I just don't think she's kind of overrated. She has the 2v2 is not very strong. So